Have you ever wondered what it would take to steal millions of pounds in broad daylight, without firing a shot, without anyone even noticing? On the morning of August 8, 1963, in the quiet countryside of England, a heist like no other was unfolding. A train carrying £2.6 million, a sum worth nearly £53 million today, was barreling down a remote track, unaware that its precious cargo was about to be stolen by a gang of daring criminals. But this wasn't some impulsive act of violence. This was cold, calculated, and executed with surgical precision. The mastermind behind it all. Bruce Reynolds, a seasoned thief with an obsession for perfection. And the plan? Nothing short of genius. The setup? It all began with meticulous planning. The robbers knew the exact route of the Royal Mail train, and they had spent weeks studying its every move. They learned about the security features, the train's schedule, and, most crucially, the vulnerabilities. The key? A fake signal to stop the train. The gang had one shot to pull it off, and they knew it had to be flawless. They rigged a signal box in the middle of nowhere, causing the train's engineer to believe an obstruction was ahead. When the train slowed to a stop, the criminals were ready. The execution? As the train came to a halt, the robbers pounced. They overpowered the crew, using violence only when necessary, and forced them to open the cargo doors. But these weren't ordinary thieves. Each man knew exactly where the money was. No scrambling, no mistakes. In just 20 minutes, they made off with the cash, leaving behind almost no evidence. They'd even planned their getaway in advance. They took the stolen money to a remote farmhouse, which had been converted into a hideout. There, they split the loot, vanished into the night, and went underground. Incredibly, no one was injured during the heist, and the robbers disappeared without a trace. The police were baffled. The aftermath? It wasn't long before the wheels of justice started to turn. Despite their careful planning, the gang's downfall came slowly. They weren't invisible. One by one, the robbers were tracked down, caught, and sentenced. But the stolen money? Most of it was never recovered. And the police? They spent years chasing leads, never quite catching up. Bruce Reynolds, the mastermind, was arrested in 1969 after a dramatic manhunt and served 10 years in prison. But he was only one of many involved. Some of the gang members disappeared forever, leaving only their legends behind. Legacy. The Great Train Robbery is remembered not just for its audacity, but for its flawless execution and the boldness of its criminals. It was a heist that could have only been pulled off by the most daring minds. And though the criminals were caught, their story lives on, inspiring films, books, and countless retellings. The question still lingers: could you pull off a crime like this? The Great Train Robbery proves that with the right plan, even the impossible is within reach.